Okay. All right. So we're going to start. I was just going to recap the last few weeks, but I think I will skip that in the interest of time and go to the third installment for today. All right, let me do this faster. Okay, where's chapter 2? There we go. All right, so we last week we looked at part 2. Let me quickly recap. And we talked about, oops, sorry. Yeah, we talked about, who remember, we talked about last week, who remembers? Well, I talked about the brain and the connection with the gut, talked about leaky gut syndrome, right? All of that is on our YouTube channel. It's already up. So I'm going to go straight into chapter 3 or part 3. All right, there we go. And today we'll be talking more about your gut and your mood, right? And all that goes between. So two things, get a paper and writing instrument. The shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. Be sure to take notes. Number two, stay away from the 5 worst words in the world. And those 5 worst words in the world are, I've heard that before. That creates closed-mindedness instead of open-mindedness. And two promises, you will learn something today that you can use right away. And promise number two is that I'm available to work with you further should a need arise. Let's go through our disclaimer. The information provided in this presentation is intended for general informational purposes only and should not be construed or considered as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. As a naturopathic doctor, I am sharing insights and suggestions based on my expertise in natural health and wellness. However, it's important to consult with a medical doctor before making any significant changes to your health regimen, especially if you are or if you have underlying medical conditions, are taking medications, or have specific health concerns. All right. So today we want to talk a lot about herbal support for your gut. Herbs have been long valued for their medicinal properties and purposes, including their ability to support your digestive health and promote gut healing. And some herbs are known for their beneficial effects on the gastrointestinal tract. Certain herbs possess anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and soothing properties that can help alleviate digestive discomfort. It can reduce inflammation and support the repair of your gut lining. And incorporating these herbs into your uh, routine can promote overall gut health. So, herbal teas and supplements offer convenient and enjoyable ways to harness the therapeutic benefits of herbs for your digestive health. For example, peppermint tea, uh, chamomile tea, ginger tea, and licorice tea are commonly used uh, herbal remedies for digestive issues, right? So if you have any kind of digestive issues going on, peppermint tea, chamomile tea, ginger tea, and licorice tea will certainly help with your digestive problems. So these teas can help to soothe di digestive discomfort, alleviate bloating, and promote healthy digestion. So I just want to go into each one of them and give a short little recipe, in case you're not sure how to do it properly. First of all, you want to boil the water and you pour it over 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried peppermint leaves or peppermint tea bag. In other words, you're not going to boil the tea bag or the dried peppermint leaves with the water. You're going to, some people call it drawing it, right? So you're going to boil the water first, have the leaves or the tea bag in a teacup, and you're going to pour the water uh, over the peppermint. You will let it steep. You can cover it and let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can strain it if you would like and enjoy. You can add a little honey or a little brown sugar as you see fit. Some of the benefits, peppermint tea can aid in digestion. It can alleviate nausea. It can relieve headaches. It can freshen your breath and also promote relaxation. Relaxation. All right, chamomile tea. Chamomile tea or chamomile tea, uh, the same process. You boil the water and you pour it over 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried chamomile flowers or a chamomile tea bag. Let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. You can strain and enjoy it. The benefits of chamomile tea is known for its calming effects, promoting better sleep, reducing anxiety.
I'm in here for.
Sorry.
Arthur.
Okay. Hello? Okay. All right. Yeah. So some of the benefits of the chamomile tea, it's known for its calming effects. It promotes better sleep, reduces anxiety. It's soothing for your stomach aches, and it boosts your immune system. All right. That's chamomile tea. And the third one is ginger tea. You're going to slice fresh ginger, about 1 or 2 inches, or you could use 1 to 2 teaspoons of the grated ginger. Uh, you're going to boil the water and you're going to add the ginger. Simmer for 5 to 10. So this one is different, right? So this one you're going to boil the water and you're going to add the ginger in the pot. Let it simmer there. Simmer on a low fire for 5 to 10 minutes. You strain it, you enjoy it. You can add honey or lemon flavor or lemon for flavor. Some of the benefits of ginger tea include it can help with digestion, can relieve nausea, can reduce inflammation, alleviate menstrual cramps, and it can boost your immunity. Boost your immunity. And the last tea recipe I'm going to give is the licorice tea recipe. Here again, you're going to boil the water and add 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried licorice root. Simmer for 5 to 10 minutes, strain it, and enjoy. Some of the benefits of licorice tea, it may soothe sore throats, alleviate coughs, aid in digestion, support adrenal function, dealing with your kidneys, and possess anti-inflammatory properties. There's a note, however, licorice tea should be consumed in moderation because of its potential effects on blood pressure and potassium levels. So if you have hypertension or kidney issues, you may want to avoid the licorice tea, or use it very, very moderately. All right. So looking at some herbal supplements now, herbal supplements such as slippery elm, marshmallow root, aloe vera, and turmeric. Turmeric. They're often used to promote gut healing, reduce inflammation, and support in the maintenance of a healthy gut lining. And these supplements can be taken orally or in capsule form for convenient supplementation. Convenient supplementation. There are some lifestyle factors that can affect our gut. Our lifestyle habits play a significant role in shaping the health of your gut microbiome and consequently your overall well-being, right? And if you look here on the chart, you see some of the things that affect your gut and create dysbiosis, inflammation, right? That's where you don't have a healthy balance of the pre and the probiotics. Some of the things that can affect it is lack of sleep, stress, whether it's physiological stress or psychological stress, unbalanced diet, sedation, sitting too much, and taking drugs. They all can affect you as a healthy adult and cause dysbiosis and inflammation in your body. So um, I remember one person said that they have a new um, job from home, a lot of sitting. You want, I'm not sure if you were here for um, our seminar on sitting, danger of sitting. If you sit for 1 hour, you want to get up and move, not just stand, but move for about 10 minutes. If you sit for half an hour, 5 minutes, the same, right? So you want to keep moving and not sit for 6 or 8 hours a day. That's very, very bad for our health. Science is saying that sitting is the new smoking. The same effects you get from smoking, you now get from sitting. All right. Well, we don't now get it. We've been getting it, but it's only now they have realized it. All right. All right. So we want to look at the impact of sleep on the health of your gut, right? So sleep quality is very essential for your gut health as it allows your body to repair and regenerate tissues, right, including the intestinal lining. And I think it was last week we spoke about this, that at about 10 o'clock, your body begins to regenerate the tissues. And if you are awake at that time, that does not take place. If you have food in your intestines, in your stomach, in your gut, that also does not take place, right? So disrupted sleep patterns or insufficient sleep can disrupt your circadian rhythm, and we spoke about that at length on several of our presentations. Circadian means about a day. So he's talking about the 24-hour cycle, the rhythm that the body goes through. We should eat at a certain time, go to bed, and awake at a certain time to keep that rhythm, right? So um, disrupted sleep patterns or insufficient sleep, excuse me, can disrupt the circadian rhythms and compromise your gut barrier function, leading to increased inflammation and susceptibility to gastrointestinal disorders. What about the impact of exercise on gut health? Well, regular physical activity has been shown to provide a diverse and resilient gut microbiome, reducing the risk of gut dysbiosis and inflammation. So exercise also enhances your gut uh, motility, which aids or helps in digestion and nutrient absorption, right? So when we eat something healthy, we don't just get the benefit of it. It has to be properly digested and absorbed for us to get the nutrients, right? So exercise helps or aids in digestion and nutrient absorption, and it contributes to overall gut health. So by adopting healthy lifestyle habits, you can optimize your gut health and bolster or strengthen your immune resilience. So here are some strategies for incorporating healthy lifestyle habits to support your gut immunity, right? So establishing, we talked about a regular sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and minimizing exposure to screens and artificial light before bedtime can help improve sleep quality and promote gut health, right? So for example, uh, if you're going to bed by 9:30, then the TV should be off by 9:30. to relax your mind to fall asleep by 10 o'clock. So here are 6 tips for a better bedtime. Beds are for sleeping, not working, right? In other words, if you find yourself sitting in bed during the day, doing work at night, your body gets used, your mind gets used to that activity, and you'll find it hard to go to sleep. So beds are for sleeping, not working. Number two, keep your bedroom quiet, dark, and cool. Quiet, dark, and cool. All right, QDC, quiet, dark, and cool. Number three, have no portable electronic device use before sleep. All right, so even if you want to listen to sleep sounds, white noise on YouTube, right, that's a portable electronic device. It's better if you read a book. You'll fall asleep faster and better without all of that neuronic activity from using the device. So no portable electronic device used before sleep. Number four, switch off your phone if possible, right? If possible, or put it on vibrate. Uh, Try sleep-focused meditation. For example, lying on your back and breathing in deeply, your eyes closed, and you're focusing on God, right? You're focusing on a psalm or some biblical text, right? And number six, uh, if you're not asleep within 30 minutes, do something else. So if you tried all of these things and you haven't fallen asleep within 30 minutes, do something else, like reading a book, for example. All right. All right. We want to incorporate exercise in our daily routine. I know some of us make excuses. We're either too old, we have too much pain. There are different ways, right? Like the gentleman here sitting on a wheelchair. So if you can't walk, before Sister Rena couldn't walk, now she's running, praise God, because she has been consistent in trying to get it. I told her, I predicted to her as before I left Texas. I said, Sister Irina, you're going to be running. And now 3 years later or so, she's running, praise God, right? This gentleman is sitting on a chair and he has one of those large rubber bands and he's doing stretching with them, right? That's exercise. This gentleman here apparently is looking probably at the news and he is doing a side plank. He's exercising. This lady here is either conversing with somebody online, probably a group she exercises with, but she's making time. She has an exercise mat right there. So engaging in moderate intensity exercise, even as walking, cycling, or swimming for at least 30 minutes, right? Most days of the week can have significant benefits for the health of your gut. And you can find activities that you enjoy and make them a regular part of your daily routine. All right. We want to talk about mindful eating practices, right? So mindful eating is a practice that involves paying full attention to the sensory experience of eating. That includes the taste, the texture, and the aroma of the food, as well as the sensations of hunger and fullness. That's mindful eating, right? Pay attention to the taste of the food, the texture of the food, the aroma of the food, as well as to your sensations of hunger and sensations of fullness. And this practice can positively impact your digestion and overall gut health. And if you look at the lady on the screen to the left, she is looking at, it looks like a strawberry or so, looking at it, smelling it, getting ready to eat it. This lady here is inhaling the smell of, look like porridge of some sort. This lady is making up her mind. Should I go for the veggies or should I go for that death called a cupcake, right? The unhealthy cupcake. She's being mindful, being mindful. So the benefits, oops, sorry. There are benefits for digestion. Mindful eating encourages you to eat slower, more deliberately, so have more deliberate eating habits, and this allows for better digestion and nutrient absorption, right? So one or two of my daughters, I mean, they wolf the food down, and when they're done, their stomachs are swollen because their food is not properly digested. I said, Daddy, please rub my belly. I keep saying, guys, you got to eat slower, eat slower. Don't inhale the food, right? You want to chew or masticate the food until it becomes watery, becomes mush in your mouth. The digestive juices in your mouth should make the food mush. When it begins to digest in your mouth and goes in your stomach to finish digesting. So you got to be aware of this, right? Uh, and so eating slower and with more deliberate intensity allows for better digestion and nutrient absorption. By being present and attentive during your meals, you can better recognize hunger and um, satiety cues. In other words, when you are full, leading to improved portion control and reduced overeating. So you see the young person here is eating, but on their cell phone, right? And here we are cautioned that it takes your body about 20 minutes to realize it's full. So if you're eating quickly, you're going to eat much more than your stomach would normally be happy with because it takes 20 minutes for it to realize that it's full. Eat slowly, right? Don't rush. Eat slow. When you eat fast, your food does not digest. You cannot chew properly. You get gas. You have indigestion and a plethora of other things that is not good for you. It's better not to eat if you're in a hurry, we are counseled, right? And then, of course, you don't want to stay away from drinking and eating at the same time, right? You want to drink half an hour, at least half an hour before a meal and an hour to an hour and a half after a meal before you drink anything, right? Nothing cold, right? That's very important because the liquid could stretch your stomach. It could damage some of the arteries in your stomach as well, right? Because then the food comes afterwards. So we want to be very careful with what we're doing. So here are some tips for practicing mindful eating to support your gut health. And the question becomes, is it mindful? Is it you're going to eat when your mind is full, or you're going to be mindful of your eating? Two different things, right? So incorporating mindful eating practices into your daily routines can certainly help to cultivate a healthier relationship with food and support optimal digestion. Optimal digestion. So we wanted to suggest that you have awareness of the eating process, right? That goes from the food selection to the meal preparation and the meal consumption, right? So from selection to preparation to consumption, we want to be aware, mindful of the foods. This picture here reminds me of our second daughter, Miracle. We have a picture of her looking just like this. I should have put it on there when she was about probably 2 or 3 years old, eating a piece of watermelon. The watermelon was bathed on her face as she was chopping it down. This picture reminds me of that. All right. Sorry, Miracle, Miracle, didn't mean to embarrass you, but I love to anyway. Amen. All right. So we want to start by taking a moment to appreciate the appearance and the aroma of your food before taking the first bite, right? And you may ask, why is that important? I'm glad you asked. Have you ever felt that your mouth was watering for some kind of food that you saw? It looked so delicious. That's the idea. You want to get the digestive juices beginning to secrete in your mouth even before you take the first bite, right? And so by taking a moment to appreciate the appearance and the aroma of the food before you take the first bite helps this. Then chew slowly, we said before, and savor each bite, right? After you put a bite or a spoonful in your mouth, put down the spoon, right? Nobody's gonna take your food away. Put it down and chew slowly. Chewing slowly and savoring each bite, paying attention to the flavors and the textures of the food, eating with awareness. You also want to listen to hunger and fullness signals, all right? You want to pause periodically during your meal to check in with your body's hunger and fullness signals, right? So eat until you feel satisfied rather than when you feel stuffed, right? And you want to honor your body's natural cues for hunger and satiety. You see the young lady over here, stomach is bulging, she can't move. The brother here is like a balloon, right? But we want to keep in mind hunger, fullness, and appetite signals. All right, so we also want to minimize distractions. It is not the best idea to eat while you're driving because you got to keep your head, guys, on the road. I've been guilty of this. I'm trying to do better. And again, this brother is here looking at his cell phone. He's not savoring the meal, he's savoring the text or the conversation he's having. And by and large, you'll have indigestion. So you want to create a calm and peaceful eating atmosphere or environment by minimizing distractions such as television, smartphones, or work-related tasks. And you want to focus solely on the experience of eating and connecting with the food, eating and connecting with his food. Do away with the distractions. All right, so I want to end with a quote. It says from the Ministry of Healing, right? You should get this book, very important book to have. Page 306, it says, the stomach is closely related to the brain, and when the stomach is diseased, the nerve power is called from the brain to the aid of the weakened digestive organs. When these demands are too frequent, the brain becomes congested, right? So what science is now discovering, God has told us hundreds of years ago. Your stomach is closely related to your brain. And when your stomach is diseased, the nerve power is called from the brain to the aid of the weakened digestive organs. When these demands, right, are too frequent, the brain becomes congested. It continues. When the brain is constantly taxed and there is lack of physical exercise, even plain food should be eaten sparingly, right? So if your brain is taxed and you don't have regular physical exercise, eat sparingly, even of plain food. At mealtime, cast off care and anxious thought. Do not feel hurried, but eat slowly and with cheerfulness, with your heart filled with gratitude to God for all his blessings. Ministry of Healing, page 306. All right, so we have come to the end of the presentation. Here is our contact information, our website, H.E.A.L Lifestyle Academy, I beg your pardon, our email, H.E.A.L Lifestyle Academy at gmail.com, our website, raisemylid.com, our phone number. We need to contact us. Okay, so are there any comments or questions before we close?
Okay, Doc, if I may.
Sure.
You mentioned about ginger, uh, grating the ginger, actually using the ginger, and did you mention straining?
I believe I did.
All right.
Let me go back
Now,
to it.
well, is it wrong for someone? We know that sometimes there are people who would chew ginger, which is very good. So I was wondering if having the ginger grated and using it without straining and actually having it chewed, if that's going to be an issue. if it could be an issue because of the fact that you just use that liquid.
Right, exactly, right, exactly. Also, the ginger is very powerful. The same thing like with what do you call it? Garlic, right? So I don't recommend to my clients to chew garlic because the quercetin is very powerful and can damage your teeth enamel. And the ginger is also very powerful. Ginger, actually, we're told by Spirit Prophecy, is more of an herb for medicinal purposes more than food. And so I recommend straining it and then drinking the tea. If you want to keep the the strained particles to use again, you can put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the fridge. But I don't recommend, if you want to cook it with food, I recommend using a very, very small amount because they could, especially if you have GERD or digestive issues, not sorry, uh, any GERD issues, right? Any reflux of the acid, I don't recommend chewing it and even drinking the tea at that point because you want something alkaline to, or even something like lemon. Lemon juice without sugar becomes like alkaline in the body. When you put the sugar in it, is when it becomes citric acid. So I personally don't recommend people chewing the ginger because of the potential damage to the tooth.
It's very powerful, right?
Yes, it is. It
And
is.
as I'm on, let me just go to one other thing before I jump off and give somebody else. You mentioned about honey,
Hmm.
and we're told that especially raw honey has live enzymes,
Hmm.
and it's recommended that if you're using a spoon, using one of the regular metal spoons is going to actually destroy those live enzymes.
Yes.
So the best that is recommended, it would be a wooden spoon. But in the absence of a wooden spoon, you can use a plastic spoon.
Yes.
But yeah, but one of those regular food spoons definitely going to be destroying all the live enzymes that are in the honey. And it does have quite a lot, especially the raw.
Hmm.
So this is something that a lot of folks, when we have a conversation, would say that they never knew anything about that. They just use any spoon. A spoon is a spoon.
Hmm.
So it's very, very important that we have conversations along these lines, because you don't know who you're going to benefit.
Correct.
You don't know who you're going to benefit. um, and just one last thing. There's this lady at the subway station. I observe from the time I get to the door, I have my, well, Mercedes Benz is my car that I would be tagging along.
Hmm.
I noticed she's in the booth, and she would head towards the where she has that switch right there to open up the gate, and she would just walk there. I thought she was coming to tell me something when he started at first, but she would come there and just point me to the thing. She would just open it up for me to just press the knob on the inside to let me go. And why is this lady doing this? So this morning I was upstairs very early because I had to go into Brooklyn to do packing for the mission trip.
Hmm.
And always said I would like to talk to her. But this morning when I went, I realized that the train was like about 10 minutes. So I went back downstairs after she let me, and I did go in. I was a little shocked. And I took one of my brochures for her, Follow the Rainbow to Perfect Health. And I said, you know something? I observe every time I'm coming. She said, yes, I just see the way you're coming in, and you're always in a nice hurry and looking busy and stuff. And I always wanted to talk to you, but you're always in a hurry, and I open up for you. I just she don't know why she does it, but she just has that desire to help. She can't explain it. So I shared the brochure with her, and she took it. She started looking. She said, "Wow, this is. Could I keep it?" I said, "Sure." I bought it back for you. So I'm saying sometimes things happen and you take a little time out. So that's my real good friend now,
Okay.
right?
Good.
She's gonna look out. She's gonna keep looking out for me,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we will. And let me also add, while we're on the topic of honey, it is not the best practice from research to use honey in very hot liquids.
That's correct.
So when you steep the tea, if you're going to use the honey, yes, you want to drink the tea warm, but of course you're not going to drink the tea hot either, because whether you use cold drinks or hot drinks, they both diminish your vital force. In other words, it cuts down your life, right? So you don't want to eat hot food or drink hot liquids, very hot or cold. Very cold liquids, it could, sometimes you get we call a brain freeze, right? But it's very bad for your health. But for the honey, you want to let the tea cool down where it is warm enough to do justice to you, but not hot to use with the honey.
That's right.
And Pastor,
Yes, ma'am.
and easy to bake with. We must use honey to bake with.
Right. Right. Same thing because of the heat. Yeah, because of the heat. Good, good, good. Yes.
Does ginger elevate your blood pressure?
Um, that's, well, I couldn't say yes or no because your blood pressure elevation,
It does my sorry.
your blood pressure elevation has to do with different factors. So I couldn't say if the ginger, um, for you or for somebody else, it will be totally different. I'll have to get a full idea of what everything else that's going on with you before I can make that kind of prognosis.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you find drinking it elevates your hypertension, your blood pressure, then you want to pull back or drink less of it. Because again, ginger is a medicine. It's not something to use every day. It's a medicine. It's an herb. All right. Any more questions, comments? I want to welcome as well any newcomers. I'm seeing Pompey or Pompey, uh, Jason. I want to welcome you. You were here last week. Welcome you back. Feel free to participate. D. Dennis, welcome. And so if you're here for the first or the second time, feel free to unmute and just tell us a little about yourself. Let me take off the recording so folks will be less shy. We'd like to know who you are, if possible.